Hello, 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 and welcome to the My Empty Hands podcast. I am Reggie Darden, and I have Tony Malgiero with me today, and we're gonna just chat about some kempo and martial arts and whatever else comes along, and just real excited to have you on, and we'll just kind of start with my background a little bit. I started in the '90s, kind of early to mid '90s. Like many kempo practitioner, a buddy of mine and I saw The Perfect Weapon, and we were just instantly in love, and saw the sign that said Kempo, and I was like, yeah, we got to do that. So found a school, found what at the time was known as a Chinese Kempo school, but it was essentially just the Tracy curriculum, Tracy Kempo curriculum. So started there and trained there for a few years. Almost made it to my third brown when I left for the army. While I was in the army, got to do a little bit of taekwondo, a little bit of hapkido, and a little bit of boxing, and had fun with that. Uh, Once I got out of the military, I could not find a school that suited my needs and where I felt comfortable with. So I just kind of did my own thing for a little bit, and that was when I found my next love, and that was of capoeira. And so I've been doing capoeira for quite a number of years now, and kind of as I was going through you know going through the garage, I came across my old training manual, my old kempo training manual, and I was like, oh yeah, I did used to do that stuff. So dug that out, kind of went through to see what I could still remember, and I was quite surprised that I could, I still had a lot of the techniques and stuff in my brain, and so that re energized my love for kempo, and sought out a school. I'm now in the Dallas, Texas area. I'm originally from the Southern California, San Diego area, so found a school out here that uh, suited my needs, and started training, and that's an American kempo. So had to start over. It was I admit I was a little bummed at the beginning, starting off as a white belt, but I gained so much more knowledge at this school, and the curriculum is quite a bit different than I originally started. We didn't have the terminology and the sayings and the pledges and freestyle and a lot of those things. So so yeah, it was good for me to slap that white belt on, and start with a good old delayed sword, and work my way up. So about a month ago, I got my green belt. So I'm just really happy to do what I'm doing, and now we got the podcast going, and just been having lots of great guests, and lots of great conversations. So I'm really excited about that. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And we'll see what other things that we get along. But yeah, let's hear your story. How did Kempo find you, and where did it all start for you, and we'll just kind of go through it.
Well, I would say it's probably very similar to yours. I don't remember if it was the perfect weapon that kind of guided me towards Kempo or if I had already started and then saw the perfect weapon. I can't really remember. But I think I might have been like maybe a yellow belt when I saw the perfect weapon. But I do remember it was a big influence,
So
especially with
you had already
I
started
think
Kempo.
I believe I might have already started when I saw the perfect weapon. If not, then I definitely did start because of the perfect weapon. But I remember I had a friend um, who had already been going, and I think he had made it to, I think, orange belt when I started. Me and another friend started, so there was three of us, and this is in the same. I want to say I can't remember if I started. I think I really believe I started in '91. Like if I probably look at my like old belt certificates or whatever, it
Hmm.
probably has like dates of like '91 or '92 on there. So I believe it was the early '90s that I started, and I'm pretty sure that the perfect weapon was a big influence on either me starting or me sticking with it for sure.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I had a friend who had already started. I think he showed us some stuff, and then me and my other friend decided that we were going to do it. And I don't remember if it was like that we watched the perfect weapon together and then said, "Hey, let's do this," or if we had already decided to start and had already started taking classes a little bit and then saw the perfect weapon. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean? But either
Hmm.
way, uh, and then I my story is very similar to yours. I started, I made it up to a certain belt level, I believe, second brown. I had made it to second brown, and then I left and joined the army. So pretty much the same kind of story. I was in the army. I did 20 years. I retired from the army,
Oh, very nice.
um, and then decided to kind of the same. I'm in Texas. I'm in El Paso, Texas, though. So
Okay, right on.
kind of the Mexico part of Texas. But
Very nice.
yeah, I made it to second brown and left in I want to say like 90. I know I joined the army in 97, but I think I probably stopped training kempo like either early 97 because I left at the end of summer in 1997. So I think I stopped probably early 1997 or maybe late 1996 to spend more time with family and all those types of things because I knew I was already leaving. I knew I was going to go. That was what I was going to do. Um, but I initially started with boxing when I was 8. So I'm from the East Coast, from Delaware, very close to Philadelphia in Pennsylvania, and a lot of my family boxed. It was like all my cousins either boxed. My grandfather was a professional boxer. All my cousins either boxed or wrestled. So we used to always have interesting get-togethers as young boys. You were either wrestling or throwing punches at each other. But yeah, I boxed for a while. I want to say probably like four-ish years from when I was 8 to probably around like maybe yeah around 12. But I was more into probably starting around like 9. I was more into stuff like baseball and football and all those things. So wasn't really taking it seriously. And then I think when I was about 14 is when I started doing Kempo. Yeah. And then left, joined the army, and did different things while I was in the army. I want to say the first probably 7 years that I was in the army, I was doing I was competing in boxing events because I had to do something, and there really was. My first duty station was Germany, so there really wasn't too many options for martial arts for me then. I didn't speak German, so I wasn't going to go find a martial arts studio somewhere and try to train with them speaking German to me. And spent like 3 years there, then left, went back to the States, and was there for maybe a year and a half, and then we went to war in Iraq. So that's when everything started kicking off, and it was really wasn't time to do much for a while, And then when I I deployed a lot in the initial early years of the war. I probably spent about 4 out of 5 years over there, and was just constantly like going back, kept going over there. Like I would go, get back, leave that duty station, go to a new duty station, and they were leaving. So it was like, man, I'm not getting any breaks. And I when I came back the last time when I came back to the states the last time from Iraq, it was like what 2008 ish. And in 2004, I was in Fallujah, in the Battle of Fallujah, and there was a lot of um, I was on tanks, so I didn't have to do it, but there was a lot of infantry guys that we fought on the same front lines together. But there was a lot of infantry guys that ended up having a lot of hand to hand combat scenarios. So I remember the army changed its whole, um, uh, I guess, hand to hand combat curriculum, and they switched over to the what they call the combatives now. So when I got back and I was at Fort Knox, I was a trainer, so I wasn't doing anything. Um, I was a all the only thing I did was for the basic trainees is I ran the live fire exercise for the tanks. So it was like I was working like a couple days out of every month, really. And the rest of my time was very free. I could do whatever I want. So I was signing up to do these combative courses. So I got certified as a Army combatives level 3 and all that stuff, and um, so that introduced me into like grappling and stuff, right? Because they do a lot of very basic jujitsu and wrestling and stuff, and Muay Thai and boxing. So I got introduced to that stuff and really enjoyed it. So eventually I left there, and my last duty station was here in El Paso, and I was here for about 8 years. While here, I I had a roommate for a little while, and he was into kung fu and some other things, and we were messing around in the house one day. He was showing me different kung fu things, and everything he was showing me was so similar to kempo that it just sparked, boom, it just blew up in my mind, like I got to get back into kempo. So I found a kempo dojo here, and it was like there was like three different ones, and one of them was doing like it was like I guess it's called Traco. So it was like Tracy and Thomas Connor. I don't Have you heard of that one?
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
doing the Traco system. So it was, I guess, the very similar probably to uh, maybe what you had started with. It was very like the old school Kempo stuff. They were doing like I remember they were doing like the Panther set and the
Hmm.
Tiger and Crane, and that was stuff
Yep.
I had never done because I started in the Ed Parker system.
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
so I saw that school, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And then I saw another school, and they were honestly, to me, they were just Kempo in name. It was more like a Taekwondo school,
Hmm.
the way they were running things. And
Hmm.
then there was another school. Uh, it was called School of American Kempo, and they followed the Ed Parker curriculum, but they did it a little differently. They did like a rotating curriculum. I believe the head instructor was a black belt under Sean Knight and Sean and Rebecca Knight out, and I think they're from Arizona. So I think he got like his third degree under them, and then moved down to El Paso from Arizona, and I think he bought out another school. I'm not
Yeah.
sure
Okay.
exactly how all that went, but he was open for. He was here. I trained there for probably 3 or 4 years. I got my black belt under him, a guy named Ron Hickey. Um, And then I started looking more into Paul Mills, because when I had left our school that I was at before I had left for the army, our school was starting to fall. My instructors, at first they were, I remember they were under like Gilbert Velez and I think a couple other people. I think Ernie George for a little while or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but I know that when like the last year or so that I was there, they were starting to they were they had moved under Paul Mills. Now
Okay.
Paul Mills hadn't changed anything yet. It was still the IKKA, which was underneath that. It was Ed
Hmm.
Parker's organization, the IKKA. But Ed Parker had died in 1990, so he died before I had started. Um, so I never got to meet him or anything like that. But
Hmm.
um, yeah, Paul Mills had started they were still in the IKKA. They had started falling under Paul Mills, and then I believe maybe like probably like right around the same time that I left, I think is when he started his own organization, the AKKI. But I remember they were doing like we were doing like certain things. We were doing these like timing patterns and some other things that were like it was different. You know, it was different
Hmm.
than traditional Ed Parker Kempo. And I remember like just seeing like Mr. Mills move and just other guys going to like just one seminar with him, coming back, and just their movement was different. You know, it was just
Hmm.
more. It seemed more explosive, and so I remember that. So that when I was here and I had gotten my black belt, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to keep doing this same exact thing over and over and over again, which is just, you know, the however many 154 techniques or whatever it is. I don't even remember how many it is anymore. I don't, you
Hmm.
know, but I don't want to just keep doing that. I want to take my Kempo to what I felt was the next level. So I started contacting. I reached out to my old instructor, even though, and she's, you know, on the East Coast,
Hmm.
but she never responded. And I'm like, well, maybe she just doesn't, you know, pay attention, because I reached out to her on social media. So, you know,
Hmm.
maybe, you know, she's older, so she probably doesn't, you know, pay as much attention to that stuff as you know the rest of us do. You know, as us younger guys do. Some, you know, when I say younger, you know, we're getting up there now. But she didn't reach out, or she didn't respond back. So I reached out to another gentleman in Florida, Rick Brumby, and he had a online catalog of the Paul Mills system, meaning
Hmm.
he had a very basic version of the curriculum, the techniques,
Hmm.
a video where he kind of explains it, not like step by step, but he but kind of step by step. But
Gotcha.
it was missing a lot of elements. So it was just basically the very basic version. So one of the things with like the Mills system is you might do a technique and you might learn a technique as like a white belt or a lower belt. We'll say yellow belt, orange belt, even. You know, you might learn the technique one way, but when you're a black belt, you're not expected to perform it that way anymore. And I don't mean just being better at it. I mean, you're going to change it. You're going to alter it. You're going to do things
Hmm.
to it, you know, that are you're going to add timing. You're going to do different things to the technique that it's going to be kind of the same, but you know, people are going to look at it and kind of recognize it, but they're going to be like, what did you do? You know what I mean? What did you do there?
Hmm.
Or that was a little different, you know. Um but so he was doing everything on the very most basic level, right? So there's a lot of elements that I was missing from it, but I at least I you know learned the basic version of everything as best you can from watching a video, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then one day I went home to visit my parents, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go and stop at my old school, you know. So I showed up and I was like, hey, look, you know, I've been talking to so and so, you know, but it's not the same, you know, as you know, getting stuff from a video isn't the same. And she was like, no, I don't want you ever learning anything from a video, you know, that's not the way you learn how to, you know, that's not the way you learn. I was like, no, 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 you're right. I just, you know, I had that bug, I had that itch, I had to get more, you know.
Hmm.
And that's how I had to do it, because there was no access to any Paul Mills any around here where, you know, where
Hmm.
I'm at. Even, and as of right now, there are no all the Kempo schools have closed. You know, so there
Oh.
are no Kempo schools here now anymore. So I'm
Oh,
thinking about
really?
opening one, but we'll see what happens with that, you know. But
Hmm.
yeah, so that kind of, you know, when he closed down, you know, here, but I you know, showed up, started talking to her again, and she was like, okay, okay, and I think at first she was like, oh, he's, probably thinking like I'm not serious, or, I don't want to take on someone who's all the way in El Paso or whatever. But
Mhm.
I think she realized, because I showed up multiple days while I was there. I think she
Mhm.
realized I was serious, and I was jumping into classes even though I didn't have a gi or anything. I was wearing like black sweatpants and like a black sheet, black t-shirt, because I hadn't brought, a gi or anything with me.
Mhm.
And she said, when I think she realized I was serious when I left and I came back to El Paso. She sent me a message probably like a month later and said, hey, there's a Mr. Mills is having a training camp in Wyoming uh, in a like a month or something. I can't remember exactly how far away it was, but she was like, "Hey, Mr. Mills is having a training camp in Wyoming on this date. It's going to be I think it was like 4 or 5 days." She was like, "Why don't you come out and we'll get you introduced into the organization, introduced into the system, and you can start." She was like, uh, you know, bring you're a black belt, wear your black belt. She was like, but you're gonna have to learn the whole system and retest for your black belt. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So I showed up. It was like 2017, I think. I showed up. um, I met a lot of people, as the whole organization, not the whole organization, but a lot of the organization from all over the country. Met a guy from Australia, the guys from the Jersey Isles, the guys from Ireland, the guys from France, all over the people that came from all over the world that are part of the organization came. They had the first day, I think, was a test. It was belt testing, and then from then on, it was all training, seminars, and training, basically. Um, so learned a lot, had a lot of fun. I believe I even met one of your guests, Christy Patagimas.
Oh yeah, very nice.
Yeah, so met a lot of people, had a good time, and then started basically and I guess going headfirst into the mill system. And then recently, I want to say, I can't remember exactly when, but not that long ago, I tested for my black belt in that system and got my black belt in that system. So I have, I guess I have a black belt in the Ed Parker system and a black belt in the Paul Mills system, and there's a lot of differences. Not it's based, the Paul Mills system is based off the Ed Parker system, but
Mhm.
it's different. But the crazy thing is that this whole time that I've been doing this, I want to say he closed down. Ron Hickey closed down his Kempo school here in, I believe it was probably 3 years after I started training there. So I want to say he was already closed when I had hooked up with my instructor, Miss Kathy Owen, in Delaware. He had already been closed, I think, almost a year.
Mhm.
So I think he closed around 2016. Or no, he closed, yeah, 2020, yeah, the end of 2016 he closed. I think it was like October 2016. So I started looking for something else to do while I was here, and I started looking for jiu-jitsu. So I'd already done the Army Combatives, which has a lot of, you do a lot of grappling and stuff. And I was like, well, I want to do it, more, because you're getting
Mhm.
a very fundamental lesson when you're there. It's a very basic understanding of it, even no matter what level you do. You're never, it's never the same. You know what I mean? I guess I would call it like if like someone were learning Kempo, but all they were learning was the kicks and punches. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's not the same thing. So I kept looking and looking and looking, and here in El Paso, it's like 100 degrees like every day.
Mhm.
So I did not want to wear a gi, right? So I started looking for no gi schools, and the only one that I could find was called 10th Planet Jiu Jitsu, right? So 10th Planet, and so they do a completely, they don't, no gi. We don't never wear a gi. It's just like a rash guard and shorts.
Mhm.
Okay, Papa.
Mhm.
And they I went started going there 2017, and just have been doing it ever since. Now I'm an instructor there. I teach on Wednesdays and Fridays. Um, that's it's. I wanted to do it because I wanted something more than just the traditional stand up.
Hmm.
Um, I looked into like Kempo 5.0, but I realized that, in my opinion, I think it's a great like introduction. You know what I mean, to like MMA type concepts or
Hmm.
ground fighting concepts. I think it's a great introduction, and it throws a little bit of Kempo into the ground fighting, which is awesome. And I really like what they're doing, and I like what I really like about what they do is their sparring. Have you seen how they spar and how they compete? The
Uh,
5-0
uh,
fighter.
yeah, I've seen a little bit. I've seen a few videos. Actually, one of the guests uh, that I spoke with, um, he he just very semi recently switched over to the Kempo 5.0 system.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try and make my way out to his school and uh, get a little bit more in depth with that. It's
Yeah.
always kind of intrigued me. So um,
Yeah.
I have kind of a little
It
bit of
intrigued
understanding
me.
about it.
It intrigued me a lot too, and I started going out to uh, a place in um, Albuquerque. I went and visited a place in Albuquerque a couple times, but it just I it just looked um, to me it looked like good kempo but bad jujitsu, if that makes sense. And not bad as in like it's not any good. It was just like I don't. It was
Very
to me. It's
surface
more.
level,
Yeah, it's more of like
basic, and
an introductory level, very beginner level, basically, which is good. Especially if you've never done any of it before. And I
mhm,
think what they're doing is great because honestly, most of the guys who train the 5-0 system, most of them, the ones that have the time anyway. I know how you've been saying you wish there were 40 hours in a week. I think we all do, or 40 hours in a day. Sorry, but
mhm,
yeah, I think we all do because we would all love to be able to train more. But I think most of those guys, they go to their kempo classes and they also go to jujitsu classes. So that is, I think, a good thing for them. But I was like, hey, you know what? I already have Kempo. I have good Kempo. I have the Kempo that I prefer, which is the Mills version. And I just, I want jujitsu too. So
mhm,
I want to be able to fight on the ground too. So, yeah, so I figure that the best thing to, and like I said, that's what most of the guys in the 5-0 system do anyway, is they train both. I think the best thing to do is to train both. One is a striking
mhm,
art, one is a grappling art, and striking and grappling is fighting and self-defense. So if you mix the two, you'll be just fine.
yeah,
However you're going to mix it, I think if you're going to do 5-0 because that's what you have time to do, then do it. If you have, or if that's what you like to do. I think the best thing is whatever people like to do. It's like the best form of exercise is whatever people will actually stick with.
mhm,
If someone doesn't like to lift weights, they're not going to lift weights. It's not going to be good exercise for them. you know if they like
exactly,
to run,
exactly.
that's what they're going to do, and that's what they're going to stick with, and that's what they should do. And I think martial arts is the same way. You got to find what you really like, what you're going to stick with, and train hard. That's the only thing I think anybody should do, is just train hard. But yeah, I just got into jiu-jitsu, and now I'm instructing, and of course training and competing, and going all over the country, competing and visiting different schools and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. So it's like I have two families. I have my jiu-jitsu family and my kempo family, and three families because I have my own family.
Mhm, yeah,
But yeah, one day I
gotta have one.
hope I hope to probably I hope to soon, within the next couple years, probably open my own kempo school here,
Mhm.
because we don't
Now,
have it. It's not here anymore.
yeah, yeah, no, I totally understand that. I'm uh, sort of in the similar situation with my capoeira, in that the organization that I'm part of, they don't have uh, any of those schools here, and so I've been trying to kind of trying to get it off the ground here, but that's it's a whole another long
It's
story.
hard to
But
generate interest, right?
yeah, it's difficult to get started, but
Yeah.
so yeah, I can relate to that. In the So you do go down the path of starting your own school. Um, are you going to kind of keep the art separate, or are you looking to maybe do kind of a fusion, or
Yeah, probably a fusion. I think the way I see it is you have to have a solid base. You have to have a super like solid base, and what I mean by that is like whether that's uh, whether that's the kicking and punching from kempo or the kicking and punching from kickboxing. It really doesn't matter as long as you have a good solid base. I think you know I think you can go from there, and so I kind of want to have like a base program that is kind of I don't want to say like um, MMA light because I don't like to do anything light or I always like to go hard when I train. Um,
Mhm,
it's just always been ingrained in me to I guess ever since boxing days and football days and all that stuff. You got train how you fight kind of thing. You know how it is was in the army. Train how you fight.
mhm,
Um, so I would want to have kind of like a base program and then have another program that people can like if they want the more in-depth thing, they can do that too.
mhm,
But it probably be more like you know uh striking classes and grappling classes, and just go from there.
okay.
Because I do it all. I at least once a week I go and join the MMA sparring classes to to get the full contact, full fight scenario, I guess you could say. Um, I train jujitsu 5 days a week. I train striking, kempo 5 days, 5 6 days a week. And we do wrestling and boxing and kickboxing and jujitsu. So there's we even do judo sometimes. So we have judo. It's whatever kind of however you can get someone to the ground, whether it's judo or wrestling, we'll use it. And then however you can submit someone, which is the submissions from jujitsu, we'll use them, and whatever striking works, we'll use them. Kicks,
Mhm,
punches, elbows, chops, hammer fists. Whatever's going to work is what you should do, in my opinion, anyway. And
gotcha,
that's what I
gotcha.
would want to do. Have like I've thought about how I would want to do like a kempo program, kind of separate where it would
Mhm,
be, but it would to me it would be more of self defense, and then okay, your uh, this is your fighting side, and then here's your self defense side. You
mhm.
know what I mean? And the self defense side would be very heavily influenced by kempo. You know,
Gotcha, gotcha.
but yeah, I
So,
would probably streamline the curriculum a little bit, but not too much. I think that I know the mill system is already streamlined from the like Parker system. Like the Parker system, you have what like 8 forms, maybe more than that. I think it's 10 forms, right? If you got short one, short two, long two, short three, long three, that's six right there. And then you got
mhm,
4, 5, and 6, and then you also have 7 and 8. So that's what 11 forms, countless sets. I don't even I couldn't even count all the sets right now. Um, and what 154 techniques, not including the what 96 or something like that extensions. I believe
Mhm.
it's 96. Yeah, no, something like that. Either way, that's a
Mhm.
lot. To me, that's a lot. So the mill system, we have basically four four sets, and they're not. There's only one that's an individual set. Like they're basically drills. They're all two-man drills, like partner
Mhm.
drills.
Okay.
The only one that we do that's not is finger set. We still do finger set, but we don't do stance set, blocking set. That's part of our form now.
Mhm.
And we only have three forms: form 1, 2, and 3. Um, there is an advanced version of form 2 and 3. So you learn the base form, and then as when you're a black belt, you kind of you expand upon it a little.
Mhm.
Um, and then we have knife and club curriculum, which is very similar to like Kali or Eskrima, whatever you want, Arnis, whatever people like to call it.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Slightly
Yeah.
different names, whatever.
Yeah.
Different. I
Filipino
guess.
martial arts. Yeah.
Yeah, FMA. Let's just call it. Yeah, Filipino
Yeah.
martial arts. Yeah, and we only have like 100. I think it's 102 techniques, and yeah, so we have a couple ground techniques. There's a couple techniques that we do that are on the ground, but I would probably streamline it even further, probably down to like 80. And
Mhm.
still, and I probably wouldn't even do the sets. I would just do the sets as drills, if that would make sense. Because the
Mhm.
sets are really just drills. You just do it in a formal fashion. You do the opening salutation, the closing salutation at the end of it, and you follow the step by step of the drill. But you can make those. You can take all that stuff from the set and make drills to where it promotes spontaneous reaction, I
Mhm.
guess you could say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, so and then of course I don't personally like to do forms, but I see the value in them. I think it
Mhm.
helps refine your movement. It helps make you pay attention to things like your stances and your stance changes and your angles and all those types of things. And I think that's good. So I do see the value in them, and I would not
Mhm.
take them away.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't want to do 1,000, or 11 forms anymore. No, I wouldn't want to do that
Mhm.
anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, there's
Yeah.
there. I'm sure there's lots of folks that agree with you on that or feel the same way. I like to do forums just because that's I don't know that's what I like,
We all
um,
like different things. And there's value in it. There's
yeah,
real value in it. I think it really does refine your movement. You know, I think it really
mhm,
does.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
it's like some people call it like shadow boxing, and yes, there's it's not shadow boxing because there's very distinct differences between the two, but shadow boxing helps you refine your technique, and that's what a form does. It helps you refine your technique. It helps you execute your punches and kicks with the proper angles. It helps you have good balance. It helps you, what I mean, all those things helps you move correctly, on your feet and everything. So I think that's what a form does too. you know
gotcha,
I think the
gotcha, gotcha.
benefits are very similar, even though the actions aren't.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, gotcha,
So I
gotcha.
would not take those out.
Right on, right on. Um, so I'm curious. I see what looks like medals behind you there. Are those?
Oh,
Uh,
this is my wall. So up there are my
okay.
Kempo belts, right?
Hmm.
If you, you know,
Yeah, I get it.
this is the actual curriculum for the Paul Mill system, and
Okay.
then these are my jujitsu belts.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
so blue, purple, brown, and these are the medals that I've won in competitions at those belt levels.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and then over there is my wife's.
Mhm. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
So just kind of jumping back to your uh, Kempo history, did you do any competing or any?
I did. Yeah. So all my competitions were as a teenager. So I can't remember. Most of it was as a in the teen divisions, but I think later on I started having to compete against adults. I think when I was a brown belt maybe. But yeah, I remember I did the points fightings and the tournaments and the uh or the yeah, the points fighting, the self defense divisions, the forms divisions.
Mhm,
I never did any weapons divisions. Yeah, but I did all those different divisions. But what I found, like honestly, what I found, I felt like most of those places, Kempo was at a disadvantage for the forms, mainly because like if you weren't like yelling and kiing
mhm,
and giving that hard like "Rah, rah," with your with your
mhm,
punches and your kicks or whatever, then you weren't going to win. And I just did my forms the way we practiced them in the
mhm,
studio. I wasn't doing we don't really do ki eyes and all those kinds of things in
mhm,
kempo. It's more of just a
mhm.
breathing thing for us anyway. um that's how I grew up doing it. I don't know if you did you do a lot of ki eyes in your forms in kempo
Uh,
when you're coming up.
not, no, not so much. I mean, we did, when we're doing floor exercises and stuff, but um, no, I can relate to the tournament thing. I
Yeah,
was only in just a handful of tournaments. I went to a lot of them, but I only competed in a handful of them, and it was just in sparring.
yeah.
Um, I never did the forums. I may one of these days try
I
it
think I got
just to
second
do it.
place in every single form I've ever, or second place in every single tournament I've ever entered.
Hmm.
It's like
But
always get a silver.
hey, that's better than me. I just get disqualified. So,
Oh no.
uh, well, a lot of the things it's like a lot of times they don't allow like the head contact or the face
Hmm.
contact, and it's like, oh well, like we're used to
That's the
the old
yeah. That's
California
the
Blitz as we like to call it, and that seems to get us
that's the
disqualified a lot.
yeah. That's the realism element that I feel is lacking from point sparring. You
Hmm.
know, did you see the? Have you ever seen the karate in the Olympics? You see the one guy got the gold medal because he got knocked out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I heard about it. I don't think I saw the match, but I've seen some
Yeah,
of the
I
matches,
think he got kicked in the
and
face and got knocked out. So the other guy who knocked him out got disqualified. So he got the gold medal. Like,
yeah,
oh, so you can
it's
get a gold medal by losing, basically.
yeah. There's definitely, I think there's definitely a need to refine the rules for the Olympic karate, Olympic taekwondo,
So
and all of that.
we have several professional MMA fighters at the gym that I train at, and one of them who's very very good uh, has started doing a lot of point fighting in his training
Hmm.
because there is value in point fighting. Like I still like to do that sometimes. I don't think it's healthy to do as your only form of sparring because I think
Hmm.
you get a false sense of security when you do things like that when you train in only a certain way.
Yeah,
But man, does it really teach you how to hit and not get hit? You know,
yeah,
and I think that's super
movement and
valuable. That's super valuable. But you learn how to control the distance. You learn how to close the distance, um, and you learn how to hit and not get hit because that's the whole idea of it. It's a game of tag, really. But
hmm
if you can
yeah.
play tag, and also learn how to land your shots with power, I think that's a great way to go about things. Hit and
Hmm.
not get hit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, to paraphrase Mr. Miyagi, best defense is no be there. So, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
gotta move around. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I
then
can.
the thing that I guess full contact or semi full contact, however you want to do it, it teaches you is to how to get hit and still stay in the fight. You got if I think if you do too much point fighting, that when you get hit, it'll be a surprise and you won't know how to react. And then if you do too much full contact fighting, you'll I think you'll think that it's okay to get hit.
Hmm.
Yeah, sometimes it's okay to get hit, but no, it's really not okay to be getting hit. So I
Yeah,
think a good mix
exactly.
of the two is what's best, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, you got to cross train and prepare for all kinds of different scenarios, and you know there's no such thing as too much training, or every little aspect that you can get
Yeah,
involved with, I think is important and helpful. And if there was no value in something, then people wouldn't continue to
yeah,
teach
for
it.
sure,
So
for sure,
yeah, I think it's important to be exposed to all sorts of different things and styles and techniques, and just have you know why limit your toolbox. So
exactly.
yeah, definitely have access to all that you can. So
Yeah.
yeah. So let's hit our lightning round here,
Okay.
as we get close to our close here. So I got a few little questions here to throw at you. First one being, do you have a favorite technique?
um, that's a tough one. So we do a technique that's called rising guillotine. That might be my favorite. I don't. I'm trying to think of a similar Parker technique, but there really isn't one. But yeah, that would probably be it. It's just a
Right.
technique against a left hook punch, and
Okay.
you kind of start out like you would, I guess, opposite side, because your left foot is forward, right? So calming the storm, right?
Hmm.
How
Yes.
you
Yes.
know you step in with the block and the punch. It starts out that way, but it's left side forward. So you're throwing a left punch and a right block instead of a left block and a right punch. It
Gotcha.
starts out that way, but then the rest of it is not. I don't even
Okay.
know how to,
Well,
you know.
that's okay. It looks the listeners and I have some homework to do. So that's good. I like it. Do you have a favorite form and or set?
Favorite form would probably be form three. It's based off of, I guess, short and long three. Short three is you do the specific techniques on, you do the one side. Long three, you do both sides.
Hmm.
But there's techniques that are in long three that aren't in short three.
Hmm.
And I think the form three that we do is like a hybrid version of that. I guess you could say it's got more techniques than just short three,
Hmm.
but it's all done on the one side. You don't do both
Okay.
sides of it. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Gotcha.
And then of course it's more, like if the technique is, if the variation of the technique. So the technique. I believe it's called fatal cross.
Hmm.
Do you know that
Yeah, that
technique?
sounds familiar.
It's like a low push or something, and
Hmm.
it's in the form three like that.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, so like that's not a technique that we do, so that's not in our form three. But there are techniques that are in our form three that we don't do. That are
Hmm.
in the that are like Parker throwbacks. Like I think is it destructive twins? Is that the first technique in form three, short form three?
Yes.
Yeah, so we do that, even though that's
Hmm.
not one of the techniques that we do. Striking serpent's head isn't
Hmm.
one of the techniques that we do, but we do that in the form.
Okay.
So a lot of it is that's kind of our form. That is, um, well, they're all very similar to the Parker forms. We only do form one, two, and three. There's no short or long version of any of it.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're kind of like blended versions of both. if that makes sense. But I like Form
Yeah.
3.
Okay.
It's
Very
shorter.
nice.
Form 2 is so long and it's so tiring, that yeah, it's I don't like doing that one. I just like doing Form 3 because it's short and sweet, I guess you could say.
Gotcha. I like it. I like
And
it.
sets, oh man. So like I said, we don't do any of the Parker sets. We do finger set, which is a Parker set, but we it's slightly different, not very much
Mhm.
different. Um, and then we have a set called Universal Set. So you know the Huba drill from FMA, from Filipino martial arts.
Mhm. Yes.
The Huba Lubu drill. That's what that set is basically. It's just
Okay.
a Huba Lubu drill against four different attacks. So you have four different zones or whatever. It's like a
Okay.
zoning thing. Um, and then we have a centerline set, which is um, I guess the best way to say it. You know, you have your center line, and then you have the center line that we're attached to if we're fighting each other.
Mhm.
And it's teaching you to dominate the center line or to move off the center line. That's what that set is. It's just a two-person set that you do in that fashion. Then we have a trapping set, which so it's like we do trapping like in Wing Chun or Jeet Kune Do or whatever.
Okay.
Those are our we have offensive techniques. We don't do the freestyle techniques. We actually have offensive techniques at our brown belt level, and it's so like B1A is one of the techniques is very similar to B1A.
Okay.
It's obviously
Mhm.
it's longer than just the B1A.
Yeah.
It's more to it than that, but that's the start of the technique. So that initial grab we would call a trap. You
Okay.
know,
Gotcha.
yeah. So you have grabbing traps and pinning traps. It's pushing and pulling, I guess you could say. However you want to phrase it, the pak sao, lap sao in that they call it in Wing Chun or whatever.
Mhm.
But we have so that is one set, and my favorite, honestly, out of all those to do is the center line set. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's like
Very.
you're doing calming the storm against a bunch of different attacks, basically. You know,
Okay. Very. Very cool. I'll have to check that out. So. Um, very nice. So, if there was anyone that you could train with, living or dead, fictional or non-fictional,
oh
who
wow.
would that be?
So obviously, of course, Mr. Parker, right? That would have to be number
Hmm.
one. Um, Two, Mr. Mills. I miss Mr. Mills. He passed away. Um, Three, these are all people who have passed. I'm gonna start with people who have passed
No,
away. All right. So
whoever you
obviously,
like.
everyone's got to train. Everyone has to want to train with Bruce Lee, right? Don't we all? Wouldn't we all love to train with Bruce Lee? And then another one that a lot of people, I don't even know if I think a lot of old school people know who this is, but Judo Gene LaBelle. You ever heard of Judo Gene
Ah,
LaBelle?
yes, yes,
Yeah, I
very
would
familiar
love to
with
train with
Judo
Judo
Gene.
Gene LaBelle. Yeah, I would love to train with him. And probably Muhammad Ali. How cool would that
Oh,
be?
yes,
You know?
yeah, no, no,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely.
Um, Living, man, there's a lot of guys. I don't, everyone on everyone that does Kempo now, I want to train with, everyone that does Jiu-Jitsu, I want to train with. I just want to train with everyone.
Excellent.
I want to come out there to Dallas and train with you guys.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not
yeah.
that
You're
far,
welcome anytime.
for sure.
Welcome anytime. All right, very nice. All right. So the final question, and this is the hardest of them all. Uh, in honor of Mr. Parker's love of jokes and humor, do you have a joke and or a funny story to share with us?
I don't know that I have. No, I don't. I can't think of any jokes, and I don't know that they would be appropriate anyway.
that's
um,
that's perfectly fine.
uh, I'm more of I kind of like humor, like Dave Chappelle, and
Gotcha.
those kind of guys. So yeah,
Gotcha. To save
yeah.
it for the Kempo After Dark podcast.
That is that a podcast?
No,
You got to
not
do
yet.
that one.
Not
Make
yet.
that one now.
Maybe when they add 50 hours to a day, then I'll
Yeah,
I'll have room for that.
yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Well, yeah, no, I thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Hey, thanks for
Now
having me,
is
brother.
Yeah. So now is the point for shameless self promotion. I always mess that up. Now is your chance to. If there's anything else that you wanted to bring up that we have not chatted about, now's the
No,
time
but
to.
anyone ever wants to come to El Paso, they are more than welcome to come and train. They can train it with me in my garage. They can come train at 10th Planet Jiu Jitsu El Paso. I have a key and we can go there anytime. It's a very large mat space. Um, so anyone that ever wants to come to El Paso is more than welcome to come and train. That's all I got to
Very
say.
nice. Very nice. Yeah, I'll have to look you up. I got some capoeira buddies out there, and actually, uh, we have or they have events every year. So yeah,
Oh, awesome.
I will actually probably be out there probably in early part of next year or so. So yeah, we'll
Okay,
definitely have
cool.
to connect up.
For sure.
Well, well, yeah, no, I thank you so much again for
Thanks for
sharing
doing
sharing
this,
your
man.
story
Thanks for
with me.
starting this podcast up. It's been awesome. Like I really enjoy your episode with Rob from McDojo Life too.
Yeah, yeah,
That was another
I
good one,
was
man.
was great to have him on, and yeah, I'm just really excited about how this has been going, and I'm really excited to have to hold myself back because there's just a lot of people that I've been chatting with, and it's like I want to release them all, but I can't release 50 episodes in one day.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I shouldn't. Maybe I
yeah.
shouldn't say can't. I shouldn't release 50 episodes in one day. So yeah, just spacing them out. But yeah, I'm really excited to for everyone that I have talked to at this point, and everyone that is on the schedule to talk to. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting those out soon, and for everyone to hear them, and yeah, we'll just keep the train moving. So yeah, thank you. I will
Thank
be
you.
in touch when this is ready to go out. And
All right.
yeah, thank you so much.
Bye.
Ciao. Thank you for listening to My Empty Hands. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with a friend. If you didn't enjoy it, please share it with an enemy. If you'd like to be a guest, or if you would like to recommend a guest for the show, please email me at podcast@talkingkempo.com. Thank you.